Another day, another cold day in England. This is the coldest day I think we've ever done a podcast on. So I had a look at Alexa and it's -3 outside. Benno, how cold is it with you?
It is, -3. It feels like factor is -8.
Well, if you're indoors, it probably feels like sort of 5, but yeah, still.
Probably feels like whatever you've got your central heating put to.
Yeah, bro, we're getting our boiler fixed, so I don't even know. Don't even know what we're on.
It's got to be the coldest one, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. It's coldest podcast.
Something popped up on my TV the other day, which was like.
I've got a smart TV.
I've got a Samsung smart TV, right? And you can't watch terrestrial TV. Like Freeview just isn't there, so you have to buy Freeview. I'm like,
what? You have to buy Freeview?
Kind of defeats the purpose of it being Freeview. So anyway, it's got its own free TV system, and it's got the tennis channel on it.
Right.
And I flicked the TV on, and when I put it on, the default thing is it comes up with Samsung TV.
Yeah.
And the tennis channel was on. Yeah. And it was Federer versus.
Not that guy from.
It was in the Aussie Open last year.
Yeah. Oh my god!
This time last year I was watching.
Taylor something. It was Taylor something.
It wasn't. No, it was Tennis Sangren.
Tennis Sangren. Yeah, he was called tennis. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Tennis Sangren absolutely bottled it.
This time last year when that was online, I was watching this. It was 33 degrees.
Yeah, honestly, and I remember seeing Kyrgios win in 5, and I was like, yeah, a year ago he won in 5 as well, and I was watching.
Crazy, isn't it? Crazy times, and now we are stuck, locked in, -5, miserable.
It is rather miserable, yeah, but we're still alive. That's good.
We're still going. We're still talking.
Yeah, exactly. So how do you get BBC One? Just before I talk about something sensible.
Well, I literally have to go through so I've got BBC iPlayer, but ITV Hub, and all 4. And have to so I can't just get to
Can't just press 1.
Can't just go to Freeview and just look at the TV guides and see what's there.
Oh my god! It almost stops you watching normal TV, doesn't it?
I just do not watch normal TV. I can't remember the last time I watched a live TV.
Well, yeah, no, that's the thing. I haven't watched a live TV program in ages, but apart from the football, it's pretty annoying when you want to watch the football.
Yeah, that's true.
But anyway, yeah, that's the only reason I plug my TV in.
That is the absolute gem about moving into the house. We've got 2 TVs, so I can just watch the football.
Is that the one? With the plan?
I just take myself away. No, that's the main. That's the main TV. They're both the same size, so it doesn't really matter.
Oh, crikey! Real tennis paying well. Good.
All those tournaments.
Oh yeah, no, loads of them this year. Well, yeah, no. Other than being cold, not much developments in real tennis, I suppose. But got a decent review of the XG podcast. My mate was happy. He was like, "Bob, I actually listened to half an hour of this," and I was like, "Oh my god, incredible! All you've ever done is just all you've ever done is just abuse real tennis, and now you're listening to it." So, yeah, I was happy with that. But no, all good in the world.
You say there's not much going on in real tennis. I'd say that our topic for today is rather big news in real tennis.
Yeah, but don't spoil it. We're clutching at straws still. We'd rather there was a tournament.
Yeah, right, fine. Sorry, let's just backtrack. Yeah, there's nothing to talk about. To be fair, there is nothing going on.
So on a day-to-day, Benno, do you just go to the gym? Do you just walk the dog and go to the gym every day?
So, shall I give you a brief run through of my day? Because it's literally Groundhog Day.
Because you don't work. You don't work.
Wake up early because Sally's still working. So wake up, go downstairs, have a coffee, make some scrambled eggs and smoked salmon, play Football Manager, have another coffee, and then go into my gym at 11. Probably spend about an hour and 3/4 in there. Come out, quickly change into some scraggy t-shirt that isn't sweaty, take the dog out for an hour, come back, put some lunch on, jump in the shower, eat lunch, have an hour stretch, and then just play on the PlayStation until Sally finishes work. And it's literally the same every day.
Every day's a weekend then?
Except for Thursday. So today's rest day, so today's really boring.
But you got a podcast, that's good.
Yeah, but as in I don't have the hour and a half in the gym and that hour stretching to do, so I'm probably going to go in anyway.
Oh my god. Just do a few press-ups or bicep curls.
No, I mean, we both know that's not going to happen.
Or pull-ups. No, that's not happening either. I'm getting pretty bored of press-ups, to be fair. But I'm hearing, I reckon gyms and like sports are going to be open pretty soon. Do you see that article?
No, I just ignore any correspondence.
Well, it said that like sport equipment doesn't pass on the virus. It's got a really low transmission rate. Like
Oh,
according to
really?
science, yeah. So I think that's really good news for sports in general.
Well, I thought the whole risk was like elevated heart rate and breathing into a shared space. That's not going to happen.
Well, real tennis is pretty cool. You're miles away.
Well, I mean, there's certain things that they have to be in umbrellas, don't they? You know what's really, really sad
Go on.
is that we're talking about this because we're in lockdown, and yet like Australia's just back to normal.
Yeah, but less people
I mean,
in
there's
Australia.
obviously like a travel ban, which is so sensible. Like, don't let anyone in or out. Let's just like contain ourselves. But yeah, America just don't seem to be following. Some places are kind of following rules, some aren't, which obviously makes sense because of the geographical size of it. And we're just literally still locked in our fucking houses.
I think we're actually are we like the only country who's locked in?
What? I mean,
I don't even know.
if you look at the other like real tennis areas, like I think France, I think it's just a Europe thing, isn't it? 'Cause it's so easy to move around.
Yeah. Oh well, these things happen, eh? Might move. Right. Well, exactly. Well, yeah. We'll move one day. But the big topic, right? Well, this is exciting, and and obviously we talked about this because it's a thing in real tennis. So we're like, yeah, we better talk about it. Clutching up to straws. The World Championship has been postponed to 2022.
Correct.
And yeah, that's next year, and we have an official statement. So can I read this out?
Yeah, well, it's an official statement, so it must have been.
Oh, today, 8:23, Ben Taylor Matthews, right? This is the official statement. The International World Championship Committee, IWCC, met and unanimously agreed that the 2020 World Challenge will now be held over until September 2022, with the challenger remaining as Ben Taylor Matthews Nat, Camden Riviere. We have the full support of all sponsors, third parties, the 2020. The match dates will be confirmed and communicated as soon as possible. That's basically it. So basically. Yeah, I thought that was going to be some groundbreaking info, but yeah.
Well, no, obviously discussions have taken place, like in an unofficial sense, from various parties. So I need obviously need to start any conversation on this with a massive disclaimer that, like, I will gladly say when it's my opinion, but generally speaking, like, we're just going to put through every side of the argument, right?
Well, you are. I might not.
Well, you might. Well, how? What is it? So, what's your opinion on that? Have you got any opinion on that? Do you think so? Basically, I think the two options basically were postpone it again.
Yeah, or host it somewhere else.
So let's quickly.
Yeah, let's go through the options.
The two main scenarios.
Okay, three. I reckon three.
Well, you postpone it again, which is what they've done, which then means that the 2022 challenge effectively doesn't take place, right? So I think the idea is that they would then have an immediate one in 2023 to try and catch up, so you lose a year. That's one option. We'll obviously explore it. Another option is just to cancel it.
Ooh,
that's an option.
Yeah,
but it is an option, and I guess a third option is play it but at a different venue.
Yeah, or at Prested once you can actually travel behind closed doors.
Well, I guess that's kind of what they've gone with the September one. I know that that's a long way away, and they're obviously hoping it won't be behind closed doors. But yours is kind of like leaning towards that road, but with a bit of a caveat.
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, I don't particularly mind. Why would I mind? It's just a thing. I mean, my first thoughts were like, there are two countries where real tennis is basically back to normal. Australia, where it's definitely back to normal. I mean, they had a tournament, they had people watching, blah blah. So like, my initial thought was like, they could have it there.
Well, there's no travel, so that's exactly why. Well, there's many reasons.
Yeah, you can't get in, can you?
There's no travel, so that's one reason.
Yeah, that makes sense. Sorry.
But that's the whole purpose of the brainstorming thing. Like, it seems on the face of it like it's not a bad idea, right?
Yeah.
But there's travel issues, and also, you know, I know these are weird times, but like, you know, Preston have gone through the process of coming up with like sponsors, coming up with a bid, coming up with a package and stuff like that. And obviously now, because of COVID, they may have to tweak that package slightly. But I think to just turn around and say, sorry guys, we're just gonna put you in the bin and take it somewhere else. It's like it's not reputable damage to Preston, but like, you know, they lose the
revenue.
They lose the ability to like have that level of prestige which they put themselves forward for. So
I mean, I can't believe it didn't happen in May the first time.
Well, things are probably not as bad as they are now.
I'm joking. Yeah.
So I think that's a major reason as to why, and you know, sponsors talk, right? And if the sponsors are happy to, I think the widely believed thing was that the sponsors would just kind of go, right, it's been too long now, like just think again. In which case, it starts to fall apart at Preston, and it's very easy to then, you know, you've effectively got like a product which you can sell again. I think the fact that the sponsors were like, look, that money's like safe, it's all yours, then obviously means that they can. But I can't imagine, for example, the sponsors would turn around and be like, do you know what, if you want to go and play it in tuxedo though, we'll still pay.
Yeah.
That's obviously not going to happen. So I understand it from that perspective. I think the big thing that I've been absolutely inundated by fellow top players. Inundated being 3 people that have all contacted
your mates.
All contacted me for some reason to kind of ask me what I think and put their arguments across to me and stuff.
Serious? You're a big man. You're a big name on campus.
Well, doubtful, but I think it's more that I just chat freely, don't I? I don't really like sugarcoat anything or hide any information. I just say what I think. And like the general consensus was like, it's not fair on everybody else to have to wait that long. And I was like, well, yeah, it's not that fair, but what's your proposal? Do you just turn around to Cam and say, sorry mate, like, tough, you've lost your shot? Like, that's not very fair either, is it?
Yeah, he has qualified.
And they were like, well, no, it's not. And I'm like, right, so if you're going to be unfair, like, I just felt like the views that I was getting were a bit selfish. And that sounds like a horrible thing to say, but as in all of the views were advantageous to the person in question rather than stepping back and look at the thing as a whole. Right? So the way I pointed out was, look at the Premier League season last year, right?
Yeah.
There were calls to cancel it, right?
There actually were, yeah.
We're not going to finish it. Let's just bin it off and start again in August. And then actually, like, what they decided was, well, hang on a minute, like that league has started. So why would you end it and then start a new one? Why wouldn't you just, if you've got an amount of time, why would you not finish what you started and then tweak the format potentially for the next one?
Yeah, right? Which they have done, yeah.
Which is exactly what they did. And that was kind of my point. I was like, the World Championship 2020 has started. Camden's won his right to play. I don't think, my view was, you can't just say, sorry mate, we're all bored of waiting, so you're back in it with the rest of us.
Yeah.
Because what happens if in that 2-year process he breaks his leg and he can't qualify again?
Yeah, in theory.
He's just lost a shot and he'll never get it again. That's not right. You know, the guy's beating everybody to get that chance, so he should get it. I didn't actually realise that the correspondence before that, months ago, was that the official statement was that when it was being postponed again, it wouldn't, not the one that's just come out, the one before, it wouldn't be postponed again, it would get cancelled. It was either like, if it doesn't happen on this date, it would get cancelled. I was completely unaware of that. Yeah,
Serious?
I was completely unaware of that.
Wow, that's mental.
So I think a lot of people have kind of said, well, hang on a minute, why are you going to postpone? Why is talk of postpone? Like, you've got it in writing. So it's a bit messy on that front. And I'm quite happy to say, like, publicly, that my view on it was, and I spoke to a couple of people like high up the tree, and I said, look, you know what my views are. I think Camden should get his shot because he's still there in waiting.
Yeah.
But you can't also deny like that email has been really badly written. Like, you backed yourselves into a corner by saying that. And what you should have said is like, we'll review it again or something like that.
Yeah, surely it should have been, we'll review it again.
I don't think you turn around a year out and say, this is what's going to happen. Because you know, the answer you get is like, well, you know, these are unforeseen circumstances. And like, yeah, well, you know, lesson learned, don't write things down in black and white because you don't know what's going to happen.
Mate, no one did.
Well, see, the funny thing is, right, it's weird because, so here would be my point. Let's say they decided there was a big groundswell to cancel it, right?
Yeah.
All of the players who, let's just assume, and it's not the case, let's assume Camden is obviously for him remaining as the challenger.
Yeah.
And let's just assume, for argument's sake, every other player in the world is against it because they want some sort of race to happen. Okay?
Okay.
Let's say they decided to cancel it and Camden doesn't get his shot, right?
Yeah.
Everybody else is happy. And yet...
Camden's sad.
Well, no, so Camden's sad. And my point to a couple of people was, okay, so let's say Camden he loses his chance. You're happy, but there's no race in place at the moment. There's no tournaments taking place. So what does that achieve?
Yeah.
If there were tournaments taking place left, right, and centre, and for some reason the World Championship was the only thing that couldn't happen, you go, right, we're all playing tournaments, accumulating points, but for no reason because there's no challenge to play for.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But we're not. So the way I look at it is like, if Camden is installed as the challenger now, or he gets taken away tomorrow, like, for the rest of us, life doesn't change. There's still no tournaments to play, and there's still no ranking points there's still no race points to get.
Stuff's still really boring.
So why does it matter at the moment? Why not just wait and, you know, see what happens?
I mean, I can't argue with that, Benno. I can't argue with that. I think.
Well, let's say you were campaigning for Cam to get out because you wanted to be like, right, tough. Sorry, time takes precedence. We're all having to wait, and we're going to have to annoy somebody. I'd rather annoy one person than annoy everybody else. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you get what you wish for, and then you're like, right, come on then, let's start a new race, and everyone's like, well, we can't host any tournaments, mate, so we're still just in a massive, like, void area. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I know. It's you say it is tough. Obviously, on Camden, he did win, but then you got to ask, like, Rob's been the world champion for ages, just by chance. And obviously, I'm not criticising Rob. He's the world champion. He's done nothing wrong. But it's like
he's only been the world champion for 3 years.
Yeah, but bro, he's not even had to face a challenge.
I'm joking.
Yeah, I've nibbled hard there. Well done. So, but like, yeah, the argument I go for
plus 22.
Yeah. The argument I go for is that you're world champion for 2 years and then you face a challenge, and as it stands, he's going to get a bonus for 2 years. He's going to be a world champion for 4, and that, like, for me, doesn't seem quite right.
Alright, we're just playing devil's advocate then.
No, I'm not even playing devil's advocate, and obviously I don't care really. I really don't care.
That's, you know, we're just chatting across like every
Yeah.
So, the immediate answer to that is like, but it's not like he's denied all challenges for the last 2 years. It's not his fault.
Yeah, and obviously COVID's happened, blah blah. You can't control that, but it is. It does get me that he's got a bonus 2 years, and obviously he doesn't care. I don't mind, but. That's the argument I go for, and I know people are like, don't deny Camden a challenge, blah blah blah, but it's not necessarily on Camden. It's almost like, well, how on earth has Rob got a bonus 2 years? It's just
so if you're Anthony Joshua,
yeah,
and you have same with real tennis.
It'd be like Joshua breaking his leg and he can't fight anyone. It's like, he's world champion.
No, it wouldn't be like that at all. It would be exactly as you just mentioned it. So Joshua is world champion. He has mandatory challenges for each belt, right? Yeah. That have to be taken, that they are time-based. So it happens in boxing all the time. if you refuse to defend your belt to the mandatory challenger in a certain time frame because you're chasing a certain fight or whatever, that boxing organisation will strip you of that belt and you will relinquish that belt.
Yeah.
Yeah? Now, if Anthony Joshua is ready to fight the mandatory challenger and then COVID hits and they can't box for 2 years, what do? What you're saying is about you're like thinking it's not fair that Rob gets a bonus 2 years. What do you do to Anthony Joshua? Do you just say, sorry, mate, we're taking your belt away? He's like, well, I'm happy to defend it.
Yeah, no. He gets to defend it, but he loses the belt. So then there's a one-off fight for the belt.
So, okay, right. So let's go back to real tennis then. Let's say as soon as COVID hits and the World Championship gets postponed, you take the World Championship away from Rob.
So on his record, right, this is in theory. In theory, it would say, like, he would get his 2 years, so he's 2018 to 2020, so world champion until then, and then you lose a year, so there is no world champion in 2021, and then the next world champion, it says 2022, blah, blah, or him.
So then what happens in the 22 race? Is it just an open race like normal?
No, there's still a match between Camden and Rob, but there is no official world champion for that match, and they both get paid the same. So I know there's disparity. Let's say the champion gets paid more, doesn't he, in the World Championship final, right?
Not necessarily.
Okay, fine.
Depends who wins.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, what I would do is I would have that one-off match between Camden and Rob in 2022. There is no world champion on the record forever in 2021. So let's say Rob's record, if I can draw it for you, it says like, so obviously,
I get it.
So it says 2018
to 2020.
Yeah, and then let's say whoever wins in 2022.
The next world champion is 2022 to whenever.
That is what I would do. That's the only thing that gets me right as a historian, someone who's read a lot about real tennis, is the fact that there has been no official challenge between 2020 and 2022.
Okay, so would you agree that like the definition of like a world championship changing hands is for like a boxer?
Yes.
The person has to lose.
Yeah,
right?
They have to lose or they have to win to get those extra 2 years. That's all that
No. So my point is, if you're Anthony Joshua and you don't defend your title for 5 years, the WBC are like, it's fine, you can just sit on the belt. Is he the world champion for those 5 years or not?
And if he doesn't defend?
Yeah.
Well,
and the organisation are happy with him not to defend.
In my opinion, he's world champion until his mandatory period ends, and then he's not. The belt is in theory in limbo, but he is then allowed to challenge for the belt the next time.
So, just out of interest, why does it matter? Because I've got a different opinion on this.
Go on.
Why does it matter? Why does it matter? My argument on that would be, well, Rob hasn't been beaten, so you can't take it away. Why does it matter that? So let's say.
What you've got
to remember is things are a lot more organised now, right? So when Edgebuster was world champion for 24 years or whatever it was, he made 7 defences or something in that time.
Yeah, not really many.
That's on average once every 3.5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rob's defending, or the current system is you defend every 2 years, blah, blah, blah. This is obviously an unforeseen circumstance. I don't personally think you should strike that 2 years off someone's record because they haven't been beaten. I don't put it this way. I don't think anyone's going to care in years to come that there's a 2 year gap.
No, I know they're not. I'm just presenting like a weird argument, and it's chicken and the egg, isn't it? Because it's like, well, he's not been beaten, but he hasn't won. I mean,
put an asterisk next to it.
Yeah, right. So, okay, this comes on to the next argument where we might be able to meet in the middle. So, Liverpool obviously won the title last year, and people were like, oh, it's a title with an asterisk. I mean, it wasn't. They won by a mile, but
it wasn't a title with an asterisk because everybody played all of their matches.
Yeah, they played all their matches. I think there should be an asterisk in that period. Like, there was no World Championship played in 2020 and then 2022 added. Would you agree with that? On the record?
No, I wouldn't. Because to me it doesn't really matter. Like it just doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
You could turn around and say, let's say for example, you had a way of computer generating the result, right?
Okay.
And it was 100% false. It doesn't exist. It was 100% fact that Camden was going to win this world championship.
Yeah.
Right now, 2 years seems like a long time.
We said that in 2018.
in 50 years' time, well, Rob had an amazing hitting partner, so
Yeah, good.
in 50 years' time, 2 years is going to mean absolutely nothing. Over like the annals of real tennis world championship history, 2 years is going to mean that. So my view on it, right, just to counter yours, is it doesn't bother me one bit that Rob is getting an extra 2 years on his bid, because it's not anyone's fault, and it's certainly not his fault that he can't defend his championship, right?
I mean, for the record, it bothers me far more that Timo Werner's not scoring. I'll put that out there. It doesn't really bother me this. I'm just presenting an argument. But yeah.
So I would say if you don't strip him of the world championship, nothing changes, right?
Yeah.
You just kind of go, oh, he just gets an extra 2 years or whatever. Or guaranteed 2 years, maybe 4 years, like you might win again. But gets an extra 2 years. If you take it away from him and actively make an action of doing something like that, I think the first question I would have, if I got an email from the IWCC that said, right, Rob's relinquished his world championship because of time,
but he's still playing it.
But the same thing for me, I'd just put the same question across and go, why? Because no one else can compete for it right at this second, so who cares? There is no world championship to play for at the moment. I can understand if it got to a world championship and Rob was like, I don't want to play, or I've broken my leg, and they were just like, do you know what? We need this to happen, so you're going to forfeit the title. That's a completely different kettle of fish altogether. But to be sat down in lockdown, minding his own business, looking after his kids, to get a phone call that says, by the way, we're stripping you of your world championship. Right? And if he says why, how on earth do you put forward a good enough argument to make him go, yeah, that seems reasonable? Do you know what I mean? Because the argument's going to be, why? Oh, well, because time's taken. Okay, well, I'm happy to defend it tomorrow. So get someone on call with me tomorrow and I'll defend it. And they'll go, we can't do that. And be like, right, so because you can't do that, he's going to suffer.
Yeah.
Seems a bit harsh, don't you think?
Yeah, it does.
All right, mate, let's make it personal.
Go on.
You won not that it's a title holder or anything like that. You won the 0-9s the last time it got played.
Yeah.
Are you still the 0-9s holder?
No.
Why? You were the last person that won it.
Yeah, but I mean, I could have never played in the last 2 years. I'm not the holder. I've not defended it.
It doesn't matter.
I won the last one.
You were still the last one. Are Liverpool the current Premier League champions?
Yeah, they are, of course.
Right. Well, there you go then.
But there's been a year gap, right?
They're in the process of defending it badly.
Yeah, so badly.
I mean, so badly.
Yeah, I know.
But they're still the Premier League champions, no?
I don't actually see myself as an 0-9s holder, and I've thought about this because next time
it's different because it's a one-off. It's a one-off tournament.
I don't see it as that. Next time we play the 0-9s, it's a different field. You don't know who's going to play. Whereas year to year, it doesn't change that much. Whereas
yeah, but up until that tournament gets played, up until that final ball gets hit, you are still the holder of that tournament.
I love this argument. This is so weird. I really do enjoy this.
Well, you are, though.
Yeah, I guess so.
So at the moment, Rob is world champion because he can't defend his title.
It doesn't quite feel as good, though, as if it was 2019, 2020.
Right.
But yeah, I guess.
But who are you blaming for that?
COVID.
Right, so you're going to blame COVID but punish Rob.
Sounds about right.
Which is exactly my point when people are like, oh, Camden shouldn't get a shot, it's too long now. I'm like, so you're going to punish one person who's beaten all of you, and me included, to get that shot. You're going to punish him because you're annoyed with COVID.
Well, it's just an argument.
It is. It is an argument. I think the big problem was and is, and I understand this from everybody else's perspective, right? That's happened. So September 22 is going to be Camden versus Rob. I did notice in the official statement it doesn't say that is the final date and it will get cancelled. They obviously don't want to make that mistake again. Well done. So what does that mean for everybody else then?
Well, yeah, it's a bit weird, isn't it, for everyone else? Like, is there going to be a World Championship process until in 2022?
Well, when does the next race start?
Yeah,
Because
yeah, it's true. What?
there's talk of like the points. So the last race obviously started last year,
Yeah,
and there was the Australian Open and the US Open. Some people gave me an argument that those points should stand.
yeah. I think they should stand. Why don't you just do another full program and add those points on? What's wrong with that?
Because those people get a head start on everybody else.
Is the head start that big? I don't actually know.
So put it this way: if somebody had said to me, if somebody had sent an email out at the start of the race and said, "By the way, new race starts today. We've got news of pandemic that's going to hit the world at some point. So we're pretty sure that you're not going to get all of those tournaments in. So it's up to you how you want to schedule your tournament, how you want to schedule your 2 years."
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, everybody would have gone to both tournaments.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
So I didn't go to Australia because I was like, I was obviously prepping for the World Championship eliminators.
Weirdly, I thought you were going to say I was pregnant. I was like, where? What?
And I was like, right, I'll skip that one because I've got 13 other tournaments to get me in, and I will choose to not go to that one and try and get to the other 13, right?
Yeah.
As it stands, we only got to play 2, and I obviously managed to miss out on the Aussie Open, chose to miss the Aussie Open. So now I start with only one tournament in the bank. Some people didn't play any of them, so they've got no tournaments in the bank, and someone like Nick Howe played both of them, so he gets a massive head start on everybody else. So why would that be fair? Considering, and I know this is going to sound weird because we're talking about a time issue, but for me, the World Championship race is a 2-year period, which it does state, which leads up to the World Championship Challenge, right? So let's say the next World Championship Challenge is September 2003.
2003?
2023, sorry. If you've got tournaments that happened at the very beginning of 2020, are they still relevant? For me, they fall outside that 2-year window.
Yeah.
So I would say they shouldn't be relevant anymore. And you just wipe the slate and you go, right, September 2023, which means 21 and 22 are the 2 years that everything starts from. Now, as it stands, we're into 2021 and we've got no tournaments.
Are they going to scrap that year of the tournaments from 2020? Because I don't think that is actually.
I genuinely don't know.
I don't think that is the worst idea in the world. I mean, it's harsh now, but like by the
You
time
just said they should keep it. Literally 3 minutes ago, you were like, they should keep those points.
No, but I didn't realise there'd been 3 tournaments. I thought it was just the Australian Open. I forgot.
And the US.
Yeah, exactly. I forgot. I forgot about the US Open night because Rob didn't do any of them.
Yeah, so let's play that one out, right? Let's assume. So Rob's invested all of his energy into the World Championship training, so he's missed those 2 tournaments. Let's just say hypothetically, Camden beats Rob in 2022, and Rob then kind of goes, right, but I'm going to plan to carry on, and I'm going to try and win my title back again. He's now missed those first 2 tournaments.
Yeah.
And so here's another thing which is a bit kind of off tangent slightly. But the timing of those tournaments and the eliminators clearly don't work. So, like, the reason I didn't play the Aussie Open was because my eliminator was like 10 days later. So I basically got forced by a fixture calendar to choose one or the other.
Yeah.
Rob, because he's in training to go massive in April, whenever it was supposed to be, is like, no, I'm literally in the middle of a massive training phase. I'm not going to fly to Australia for 2 weeks and then come back and then fly to America for 10 days. Like, that's a massive hole in my training. So I'm not going to do that. So then at the end of it, you turn around and you go, right, Rob, so after all of that, you've got 0 points, which means you're 4,000 points behind everybody else. So you're already starting with a handicap.
Yeah.
Which is a bit silly. But that's like a different argument with the calendar changing and stuff like that. But Yes, it's a strange one because I completely understand why people are saying it should get cancelled. Unfortunately, there's an email that said it was going to get cancelled, so that's just black and white. And
Oh right,
black
is the race going to get cancelled then? Yeah.
No, sorry, we're talking about the World Championship.
Got you.
And they've gone back on that, and I don't think that's very good.
Well, all this podcast shows me, this discussion, is that we shouldn't be on the World Championship Committee discussing.
I think we both agreed that the terminology could have been better.
I mean, I don't know. I'd have like some weird thing like until the world properly gets back to normal. Like I'd have a race which was to some other tournament. I'd do something innovative. I don't know, but that's for another time.
Well, like what? If you've got international travel, then the first thing you should do is get tournaments with points on the go.
Loads of them, mate. Loads of them.
So I think the potential issue that people have got, which I understand, is like, oh God, if it's been pushed back that long, it's September 22, which means the next one's going to happen for a long time. God, we have to sit around in limbo for ages. Well, yeah, we do, and that's crap, but that's not Cam's fault.
But yeah. Anyway.
Rob's fault.
It's no one's fault, mate. It's no
exactly.
One's fault.
So why do we have to punish somebody? As it stands, the world is as it is. I just don't see a massive issue. I'm not a big fan of the wording that went out in the email before that they've really backed themselves into a corner, and they've had to come out and go back on their own word, which looks really bad.
Yeah.
And I've told them that I think that looks really bad. But I don't have any quibble with the. One of the people that said to me was like, well, September's 22, and then by the time the next one comes around, like, we'll be like nearly 40, mate. And I'm like, so your whole argument is based around your age.
Weird that Darren's moaning.
Incredible, isn't it? I was like, so you're going to moan about your age as a factor for changing the whole World Championship process because you've lost an extra 18 months. Well, we've all. You didn't. If you want to if you want to worry about time, you should have just qualified for it this time.
Yeah. Anyway, right. Well, we could talk about this all day. Did you just put a pillow over your phone or something?
No, I just I stood up and pulled the headphones out the bottom of my
phone. It sounded like a massive wave. How interesting. But yeah, no, interesting one.
Yeah, what's your opinion then? So World Championship's cancelled or postponed again. It's a big shame.
Yeah.
Are you happy with the outcome that it's Cam going to be Rob again?
Yes, I'm happy with that. I'm happy it's Cam to be Rob, 100%.
You think that Rob should have 2 years taken off his record though? Or
yeah.
you would be happy for that to
asterisk. I want it to be asterisk.
Asterisk.
Final answer.
Alright. Final answer,
mate. Yeah,
well, it's interesting, isn't it? Because something like that is always going to divide opinion.
Yeah, and I like it, guys. Let us know.
Benno, Camden still being the challenger. Yeah, the time frame, the postponement.
Put a poll out on Insta. See what people think. Let's get the people's view. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why not? However, are we going to talk about an American court today?
You are going to talk to us about Aiken.
Oh, mate, I've been to Aiken.
Exactly.
I've been.
I don't actually know how far, because we're down on our road trip, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't know how far it is from Washington to Aiken. I'm going to assume quite a punt.
A long way.
Yeah.
A long way. It's in South Carolina, isn't it?
Correct.
So I went there in March 2016, I think.
It's a 7.5 hour drive.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, you do that in a day.
You would, yeah.
So, good story about that. So, basically, I was with my dad. We were playing the US amateur singles and doubles, right? And obviously, my dad, hates technology. And so, basically, we're flying to Augusta Airport, hire a car, and he basically could have paid $20 for a sat-nav, and he was like, no, I've printed off the directions on Google Maps, don't need a sat-nav. And I was like, okay, Dad. Anyway, we're on this road, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't really understand, where we're going. And anyway, we got lost, and I was like, Dad, we could end up driving on this road for hours, hours and hours. And he was like, yeah, right, we need to stop at a petrol station here. So we ended up buying a map from a petrol station, asking where, Aiken was. And obviously, everywhere in America, no one knows where anything is. So we were nearly, we nearly missed off.
No one knows where everything
Yeah.
is.
So like
Fair
we,
enough.
as well. So on the way there, we nearly we got lost, and on the way back, we nearly missed our flight because we got lost on the roads. Mate, it was mental. And I was like, Dad,
How long ago was this?
5 years ago now, basically.
I mean, have you ever heard of this amazing technology called SatNav?
Mate, I asked my dad. Like, I said to him since I was like, Dad, that is nearly the worst mistake you ever made. And he was like, Oh, we got there, didn't we? I'm like, not really the point.
Just buy a bit of data. Christ.
Um,
International well, actually 5 years ago, international
Bro,
roaming.
international roaming, savage.
5 years ago, I could roam internationally for free.
All right.
Well, anyway, that's a funny story though. I'd have absolutely
Yeah.
loved it if you'd been driving the wrong way.
Yeah, bro, imagine. Anyway, so yeah, Aiken. It's in like it reminds me right of Leamington a little bit because it's just in the middle of a town. Like it's like Newmarket. It's just sort of tucked away, and you're like, oh my god, that's a real tennis court, like in the middle of a town.
I've only ever seen like a picture of it on the outside, and it does look like it's just when I say on the side of a road, as in
It
looks like it looks like it is very accessible.
Yeah. Oh, trust me, it's just in the middle of a road. Yeah, like just in the middle of a town centre. And it's just
Like
there.
Hobart then as well.
Yes, I've seen a picture of Hobart. Yeah, very similar to Hobart.
Yeah.
Or
Oh, that's
and Melbourne, to be fair, because Melbourne's just in a housing estate, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not in like the city centre, but
No, neither.
But yeah, it's not out in the middle of nowhere.
Likewise,
It's not
Aiken's not like a city; it's a town, isn't it? So.
yeah.
But yeah, it's once you go in, it's like got really nice club rooms. Obviously, got the Readers' Court, got a glass dead on. Like yeah, really cool, really cool. Nice big changing room. And like a nice sort of lawn area, and also it's really warm there. Like the climate in the south is really warm, so
Yeah, so I imagine particularly hot in the summer.
yeah. No good players have come from there. Really, I can't think of any. That's not true, is it? Camden Riviera is still the club champion.
Is he?
Yeah, so there's a board, right, and it says like
So
club champion.
but hang on a minute, by your reckoning, he hasn't defended it, so he should have a massive asterisk next to his name.
Yeah, he should. It says like Camden Riviera club champion 2003, and then like open. Like no, he's never defended it.
Well, there you go. So that's not right. 2003 to 2004, and then strike him off the list.
Very good. Yeah, it's a club championship, mate. Different rules. So yeah, but the court, from what I remember about it, quite quick. It's quite nice. Nice court.
Yeah, I mean, I've never played there. It's one of those things like I'm always like, oh yeah, I need to get down there, I mean, it's obviously a purpose trip. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not something you just
Bro,
want to stumble across.
You would go to you'd go to the Masters, wouldn't you? And then you play Aiken. I think that's how you'd have to do it like that.
God, I tell you what an absolute perler of an idea you've come up with there. I'm sure I could afford. I'd have to do 55 exhibitions at Aiken to try and cover the cost of one ticket to Augusta for the day.
Yeah, I know it's a tough one that, but is that is how you do it, right? You'd go, or if there was some tournament. I mean, it's a shame there wouldn't be. Well,
or you would just go down, go for a holiday, play some golf. Apparently Charleston is like an insanely gorgeous place.
Yeah.
Which isn't a million miles away. I think it's 2 hours or something. So you go on a holiday and do a bit of travelling around and tick it off your list while you were down there, I guess. But yeah, I mean, God, the dream would be to go down and play golf and head to Augusta and stuff.
Mate, literally. But it's well nice there. Honestly, it's a really nice club.
I've heard that it plays really nicely.
Yeah, it does.
Anything that's like, what's it kind of similar to in the UK?
My immediate thoughts are Morton.
Okay, so it's quite a quick and true floor.
Yeah.
Bigly kind of stuff.
It's nice, yeah.
Walls are quite quick as well.
Yeah, and like the colour scheme's pretty similar to Morton, I think.
Yeah, it is. I've just had a look at it. It's the what I would call like the stereotypical real tennis court colour, in a good way.
Yeah.
The kind of terracotta floor and the black walls.
Yeah, genuinely though, again 5 years ago, and I can't really remember that much, but it just reminded me of Morton, to tell you the truth.
Very nice.
But yeah.
How big is the club area? Like what facilities?
You know what? Deceptively big. So you walk in and you think it will just be a court, and I'd say like the back room, so like behind the tennis court, is about as big as the back room at Morton. Yeah. And but then again, there's bigger rooms before that, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
So there's
it's not it's not your typical English court,
No.
which is like just as in Victorian court, which is just walk in, like small club room,
There's
area,
like a pool
room, and that's about it.
There's a pool table, and then there's a room which is like another room, like sort of games room.
Interested.
Yeah, there's like a bar, I think, up top. I can't quite remember really, but like, yeah, there was 2 big rooms as soon as you walk in either side, and then there's like a big club room behind the dead on.
As a separate room entirely, kind of thing, like behind glass, or
yeah, behind glass, yeah.
Man, I'm literally just having a look at this on Google Maps, like now.
Yeah.
The road that it's on, with all the cars parked outside and stuff like that, looks very much like the centre of Ballarat.
Oh,
not as in not where the court is.
Yeah. Ballarat's a great example. Ballarat's a great example.
The town centre of Ballarat.
Yeah, no, Ballarat's a great example. It's exactly like that. Yeah, just like the town centre, and then bang, there's a court in the middle. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, really good example. That's what I was trying to think of. Again, like Leamington, it's in a town centre. Newmarket, blah, 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 town centre. So yeah, it is. Yeah, it's pretty much just hidden away. But I remember that road actually because the first time my dad drove down it, he went the wrong way. It was like a one-way street, and he was driving up it, and these cars were just like beeping at him. And I was like, "Dad, get on this side."
To be fair, he would have said, "At least we got it."
Oh god, yes, just Jesus Christ, man. It's when you can't shout at an adult. Anyway, but obviously Camden's from there, isn't he? He's a good player. I'm led to believe. Well, yeah, Camden's a good player. Had a few technical issues there, but we're back in. Thankfully, the recording's auto saved. But yeah, other than that, with Aiken,
Mark Devine, he's been down there.
Oh, Mark Devine was the pro, wasn't he?
He was the pro.
I heard another good story about Aiken where like there was a challenge, wasn't there? Rosa Gunn v Camden at Aiken, and Ricardo was like Camden's practice partner or something.
Yeah.
And wasn't he like practice partner for both?
I think there was some kind of I think Rory had like some kind of issue with his practice partner, or like I don't know, whatever. There was some kind of issue, and basically Ricardo ended up hitting with both of them.
Yeah.
Which is pretty brutal. That was actually a pretty brutal match for Rosa as well.
000s, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. You wouldn't wish that on anyone at any stage, let alone a World Championship eliminator. Christ.
Exactly, but other than that, I think like Aiken, basically a lot of the great US amateurs used to play there. They used to have like holiday homes in the south in the winter.
Yeah, makes sense.
So they used to play there, but so lots of good players have frequented Aiken.
So on the basis that we've done this on a lot of the American clubs, what's your favourite bit about the club?
I thought you'd never ask. My favourite bit is the bit of grass to the right outside. So like they've got like their own little lawn, and I remember sitting on that in like March in America when it was freezing in Chicago, but in Aiken it was quite warm, and I remember it was like 20 degrees on that grass, and I think it's a really nice sort of lawn area, like the sort of patio Melbourne have got, if you get me.
Yes.
Okay. And I think that's a really nice zone.
Your favourite bit about the whole, like the only real tennis club in the south, is a little bit of grass outside the side door.
Yeah, is that right?
It's absolutely fine, mate. I've never been there, so I can't. I absolutely can't comment.
One of them. That is my favourite. I think it's a good little setup there.
I've got to go. I've just got to go.
Yeah,
it just has to be done.
We'll defo go. We'll go to Philly, like that trip. We'll defo do it. If you're serious.
Good plan.
What
Philly,
you want?
I don't know when Washington's closing. Let's try and probably before we get a chance to travel.
Exactly. What are you on for the rest of today, Benno?
I'm taking the dog for a big walk in a minute because I've heard her barking constantly like the whole time I've been doing this downstairs. So I imagine Sally would probably quite like her out of the house for a bit.
I hope.
She's barking at all the like construction workers and stuff. She's a nightmare.
The dog. The dog was Sally.
And then I'm going to come back and have like a very gentle ride on my assault bike, which I have.
Ooh.
And then have a big stretch, and just have a bit of a chill day today.
I like that. That sounds fun.
How about you? You off to work?
Off to work, yeah. Finish at 4, and then might go to
Some press
Tesco.
ups.
Might go to Tesco, check out the reduced section, and yeah, do some press ups. Watch Chelsea beat Barnsley.
Oh, is that today?
Yeah, that's today. Yeah, watch them put a few goals past Barnsley.
Watch Werner bag a hat trick.
Nah, it's not happening. You can't hit a target. But nonetheless, hopefully the in the last 3 minutes, this podcast, the like connection won't be too bad. But guys, until next time.